Hello everyone, welcome back on the SEG eRacing Academy YouTube channel. Today we're bringing to you we were back with the U23 Series, so there's no European Championships of football today. It would have been today, but we're bringing something bigger to you. Important thing, the U23 Series are back, but most importantly, U19 is also back. Hello Yuri.
Wow, that's a lot of honor for me, Casper. Thank you very much.
So we're back today. It's a really big race, Yuri. It's a lot of hills, a lot of altitude meters as well. We are in Pienza, so a new parcours as well. Are you looking forward to today?
I'm really looking forward to today. As you said, it's a new parkour, so we didn't do this one yet. And I must say that before the last races, I looked up to every parkour before the race, but I haven't done this today. So it will be a complete surprise for me how this parkour looks like. But I'm very excited, and we have an exciting race to watch, I think.
Yeah, that's for sure, ladies and gentlemen. There are, of course, a few competitors. New is that we also have a few under 19 competitors, so we will watch them as well today. They are in the white kits, and we do, of course, have an interview for the start as well. Milan Paulus is here, I think. Hello, Milan.
Hello.
So, are you looking forward to today's race? It's a lot of altitude meters, of course. Is it something that suits you, or?
Yeah, I think indeed it's a nice loop today, a little bit uphill. But we will see how it will go, and maybe I can stay with the first group.
Yeah, your first year as under 23, is that right?
Yeah, indeed, it's my first year, so also my first year with SEG Racing Academy.
Yeah, and how hard is it for you that there's no race at the moment?
Yeah, it's hard because I wanted to see how am I growing in the races, and if I'm getting stronger in the races. But now I can't do that, so I just need to do that on training sessions, and that's not so easy.
Yeah.
And is it in Milan? Can you compare this to real races? Do you learn anything in these races? What your level could be when the road season starts again?
I think the sea races are a nice opportunity to have a little bit of the competition, but I think you can't compare it with real races, because in real races there are a lot of other things where you need to watch for, like the weather and things like that. Now it's just riding so hard as you can, so it's completely different.
But is the level okay for you at this moment?
Yeah, I think the level on the e-races that we had also with the last e-racing series was very high. And we had a lot of guys there, also from different countries. So I think it's good to do this in these times, and also that there are such strong guys who are doing this right now.
What are the main competitors for you today? Who's your big favorite for the Pienza circuit?
I think, of course, my favorites are the guys from the team. Guys like Harris and Woods. And we are a lot of strong guys here, so let's hope that someone of our team will win today.
Yeah, but you have to say that, eh?
What?
You have to say that someone of your team has to win, right?
No, I don't have to say that.
No, just joking, man.
Well, Milan, thank you for talking to us, and good luck on the race, eh?
Okay, thanks, guys. Bye.
So we're getting really close, actually, Yuri. Only 1 minute to go, and I haven't even had the chance to introduce the rest of the riders to you, but we're gonna do that now. Here we have, it's George Mills-Keeling from the Rebel Well-Tide Pro Cycling. Thank you, Joyce, for joining the Zoom. There he is. He's waving to us. We've got, let's see, I firstly want to look at the under 23 riders. Here we have Bodie Del Grosso. Hello, Bodie. He was a little late, so I think he's preparing himself real quickly for today's race. Then we have also Stan van Tricht. Is he ready as well? I can't find him. No, he's not. He doesn't have his cam on, so we'll wait for that. And otherwise, it's without Stan van Tricht today. Then there is Will Truelove. He is one of the juniors for today. He is from the Welsh cycling team, so one of the juniors we are going to look at today. So they are racing together with the Under 23 Series. We'll talk through that during the race. And here we have George Wood, that is the last rider I wanted to introduce you. And George is also a junior. He was 46 this year in Kuurne, Brussel Kuurne for juniors. So then I think you can ride a bicycle, Juri, if you're able to finish off the race of Kuurne, Brussel Kuurne.
Yeah, of course, it's not the most easy race in the calendar.
Yeah, there we go. We have just started the race here in Pienza. As I already said it to you, there are 1100 meters of altitude in today's race. So that means that there is plenty of action to be expected for today. I think the RGT sound is a little too high, so I'm putting that off at the moment. Here we go. We just started the race. Who's your big favorite for today, actually, Juri?
Well, I think it will be a battle between the Kiwis today. I think that Andrew Pitbull is going to do very well today, just like he did on the Mont Ventoux stage. And I also think that Corbin Strong can do very well here. He's my main favorite, but I'm searching for him now, but I haven't seen him yet. So I don't know if he made the start today. Well, but if he did... Sorry, what did you say?
No, I'm just looking, but I think everyone made the start, but I'm not quite sure about that. But I haven't seen Corbin Strong as well, so we need to keep an eye out for that, but go on.
Yeah, and of course Marco Frigo, who won the Ventoux stage. He's also a guy who can do very well, and I think he could even do better in this stage than he did on the Mont Ventoux, but that we will have to see.
Yeah, and it's a home race as well, for Marco Frigo, so maybe...
yeah, it is.
I think that's the only rider who has a home race today. It's the only Italian rider here in the peloton, so he is riding at the Pienza circuit, a complete new circuit here on the SEG eRacing Academy channel. I can see that a few guys already... commented on the live stream. It's always good to do. If you have a question for me, for Juri, or about the race, then you can always ask that. I can see that Jesse Rijt and Federica Frigo are already commenting, so thank you for joining the live stream. Yeah, we're now at the first lap. There are 3 climbs in this circuit. I tried to see how it actually went, but I'm not quite sure where the start is, so I can't talk you through. But there's one big climb that's around 2 kilometers long, and there are 2 small climbs who are a little bit steeper as well, as Daan Hole is pacing himself at the front of the peloton.
Yeah, and I think it's this parkour, what you said, because we had, of course, the profile of the race. And if you look at that, it looks a little bit like a mountain bike parkour to me, with the 3 climbs with 1 bigger climb and 2 some smaller climbs. So it's a little bit like you see in the cross country discipline, where you also got a lot of climbs in one lap. But of course, this is road racing, so we'll have to see if the real guys who can climb well will also be the top contenders for today.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that. It's of course this parcours is a big difference when it comes to the Mont Ventoux. Mont Ventoux is more of the longer effort, and this maybe we can compare it more with the Paterberg loop. It's more of an explosive effort you need to do to get rid of the peloton and to make it in the final sprint. So I'm actually quite curious to see who is going to be on top today, as Jordi Meeuws is pacing himself at the front of the peloton. He was the winner of that first stage in that amazing stage race we had a few weeks ago, Juri. That was really cool, that stage.
Yeah, it was. It was like he was a cat in that stage with a lot of lives, because he kept returning to the front group. But on a certain part of the race, it was done for him, and he didn't get to the front back again, and he lost his leader's jersey there. But it was quite an astonishing race over there with the great attack of I thought it was Paul Wright who did that famous attack on the last ascent of the Paterberg. So there was quite a nice race to see, and I hope we will see some sort of that action today. But I think this course is a little bit more difficult than the Paterberg group. But as we said before, we have to see.
Yeah. As usual, you can see the distance at the top right. We almost completed 2 kilometers and there are still 39.1 kilometers to go. We climbed 114 meters already. And I also want to say to you that the profile of the parkour is also visible there with the slope, the speed. You can all find it out yourself. And there are 5 laps today on this Pienza circuit, so there's... if you want to see something on the road, once again, you have to wait just 1 lap and then it's able to see again. So it's a hard race already. The pace is big at the front. Look at that. Jordi Meus is putting out 6.8 watt per kilogram. So if you're not a really good cyclist, I think you're in trouble at the moment as well. And maybe if you're a good cyclist, you can also be in trouble at the moment. I can see that Van Stokstraten is already being distanced by the peloton. He is behind. He is still riding at 5 watt per kilogram, which is also a lot. But he's having trouble with keeping up the pace. So that's not good for him, the rider from VP Consulting Pro Race from Belgium.
Yeah, and it's... I think I'm still searching for Corbin Strong, but I think he missed the appointment today.
Yeah.
But I think
it's early in the morning, New Zealand, so maybe...
it is.
He wanted to sleep more or something.
Yeah, maybe. And I see that Marco Frigo is already... on the wheel of Andrew Bidwell, which seems to me like a great wheel to be in, because those two are my main favorites for today, as Corbin didn't make the start, I think. So that's to see how this will develop.
Yeah. Of course, it's Corbin Strong is indeed not racing today. I think we had 30 participants when it comes down to the start list, but there are only 25 riders or something. So we still missed a few riders that are not that have not made the start for today. As we are going through some gravel roads, that looks actually amazing. I think look at that, they are going 99 kilometers per hour. So they are going 112 kilometers per hour over this gravel section, Jordi.
Yeah.
I would shit my pants if I was there.
Yeah, normally this would be a YouTube hit or something, or like we have in the Netherlands, it would be a perfect video for Dumpert, because in that speed going in a downhill on a gravel section, well, then you're risking your life. So that's not really a good plan to do. But they did step up. They are quite a bit in that descent, and they nearly hit the 100 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, they actually hit it. I think I was watching a rider that went at 112 kilometers per hour. As we are seeing that the first junior is being dropped. That's Mathieu Dupin from France. We're currently watching at the right bottom of your screen. It's Will Truelove from the Welsh racing team. He's also an under 19 rider. So 2 races in 1 today, which is really cool. And Will Truelove is still in the peloton. Here he is at the 19th position. And he's doing quite well there with Matthew Kingston as well. And I think that Thomas Meinsberger, one of the Dutch juniors that would have been racing here today, also didn't make the start. So that's sad for him. But there are only 3 under 19 riders in the peloton at the moment, as it looks like. With Robin Orange there from Akroch, Tormans, Balen, BC also there. And he's actually pretty good in the front there. You know how juniors race, Yuri?
Yeah, it's most of the time it's just a block from the start and just see where it ends.
Exactly.
But normally no tactics for junior races. But on the other hand, I don't think there has to be a lot of tactics in this kind of races, like Milan explained before the start. You just have to make sure you pedal hard and you stay in front of the group, and then try to do as best as you can. So for the juniors, maybe this platform is a great opportunity to show what they can do with all the older guys.
Yeah, of course, it's nice to see, and I think they knew that it was going to be a really fast start and that you needed to be prepared. They are in the peloton, but they are not pushing really hard, so that's also good to see. Normally, the juniors always go to the front of the race immediately, but now they are watching themselves as we have still got 36 kilometers to go. It looks a little bit like Strade Bianchi, this, Yuri. It actually looks pretty nice, this.
Yeah, it does, and with all the nice colors with all the green scenes, so it's pretty cool to see. It's like I said, I didn't watch the parkour before, but this is quite a nice surprise.
Yeah, as we have 3 groups at the moment, we see that Andrew Bidwell, Marco Frigo, Harrison Wood, Milan Paulus are all in that first group at the moment. It's of course very early in the race, and it's also the gaps are not that big, of course, especially in the downhill. It looks more than it is maybe, but there are still. But there are 3 groups actually that are that are separated from each other. So you need to watch out in the very early beginning of the stage that you are not being dropped eventually. That could be really hard once you when you prepare yourself for the race and you will be dropped in like within 6 kilometers. But that second group actually melted together with that first group, and now the third group has to watch out that they are not being dropped.
No, it's like we saw in the races before when you get dropped. It's very difficult to get back. But I also have to mention that in the races with the more uphill sections, it's a little bit easier to return in the front of the race. But for example, the Borrego circuit, if you lose contact with the pack over there, your race is over pretty soon. But luckily, as we see, nearly everyone is back in the peloton. So now it's a more flatter part of the circuit, and we're going to see how this will develop into the next climb.
Yeah, I can tell you that Jordi Meus lost contact with the peloton, so he was starting off really fast. Jordi Meus is the perfect example of a junior normally, but this is an under 23 rider, the winner of that Borrego Spring Circuit stage in that stage race, and he is now being dropped at the Pienza circuit, so that's not good for him, of course, but there are still a lot of SEG riders in that front group, so I think they still have a big chance of winning. We can also see that Smith is being dropped. That's Nathan Smith from Cycling Sheffield. He lost contact, and there are only 17 riders now in that first group, as Tom Smeets also lost contact there. Tom Smeets from the Jonge Renner.
Yeah, it's an undulating route. Some riders are having difficulties already, but it's not a very easy course to do this with all of the elevation meters and also the up and downhill sections are pretty following up each other pretty fast. So you have to stay in front, but then, of course, very difficult because you have those variations in speed and the rotations per minute. Because the steeper parts, of course, you have to turn the pedals a little bit slower because you are going uphill, of course, and that's what I think is very difficult in this parkour.
Yeah, it's up and down and up and down, and you need to shift like it's in real life, so it's really hard to keep up. You can see that Matthew Kingston is having difficulties with it. Then he's riding at 7 watt per kilogram and taking the lead of the race. And then he's just relaxing a little bit, and all of a sudden he is behind in that group. We're now leaving the gravel section. We're taking a right turn there. You can save a few watts by keeping your legs still, and then you need to accelerate back again to make sure that you make contact with the peloton after the turn as well. I think Tijmen Aresman was also behind, so a lot of riders who are having difficulties. Yeah, Tijmen Aresman also being dropped. Only 16 riders that made it in the peloton throughout the first lap.
Yeah, the survival of the fittest is already up and going here. So if you don't have good legs, this is a very you can't hide on this circuit. So it's a very, very tough one. And I think it will be survival of the fittest, and the riders with the best condition will be in front in the last lap of this circuit. So you see that a couple of riders are now trying to save some energy with the juniors in the back of the group, and just trying to save some energy before the climb kicks in again, and that will be in just a minute or so, I think. No, we're climbing already.
We're already climbing. It's a lot of climbing here today, as we are watching George Mills Keeling there at the right bottom of your screen. He is also in that peloton there in that blue jersey. The rider from Ribble, Well-Tide Pro Cycling. Actually survived that hard first lap, and from now on the pace is not being kept still. Actually, David Dekker is leading the front of the group. He's actually attacking away there at 6.8 watt per kilogram. That's a really strong effort by David, eh?
Yeah, it is. It's not a rider who normally does well on these courses. It's of course a sprinter, but also a guy who can do well in the classics. but normally in normal circumstances in real road racing, I think a parkour like this would be too hard for him. But yeah, maybe it's the team tactics of SEG just to send someone up front and let the others do the work, because yeah, we can see that the SEC is with a lot of riders in that second group, or in the peloton, because the second group is now formed by Andrew Bidwell and Daan Hole. But it seems like Dan is getting back on the wheel, but the peloton isn't far away. So yeah, maybe it's a tactic just to try and set David up, just to get the other riders of STG take a rest or something.
Yeah, we see Meindert Weuling there from the A-Block cycling team, also in the front of the peloton at the moment. He is pushing hard to make sure that Andrew Bidwell and Daan Holen are being reeled in. And then we also have David Dekker, who's taking 80 meters or something at the front of the peloton, or at the front of that second group with Daan Hole. It's already 120 meters at the front of the peloton. So David Dekker is actually pushing himself quite well there. And he's doing a great job. He's making the race more interesting as we are watching that second group with the 3 juniors also in it. I think that's a really good effort from the juniors there, huh?
Yeah, they are doing quite a good job. The junior guys are, like we said, under 19 years old, and they are now competing in a race with a lot of guys who are older than them, because they are all under 23 riders, which makes sense, and they because they are all under 23 years. So yeah, they're really doing a good job just to try and maintain the pace of those guys, and it's quite nice to see.
Yeah, we can see Matthew Kingston there at the front of the peloton as well, one of the juniors who is the favorite for today. We can say that it's Robin Orange, it's Matthew Kingston, and it's William Trulove now at the right bottom of your screen. So 3 juniors we are also going to watch today. They will be resulted separate, or however you want to call that in English. But for now, I think it's better to move up to the front a little bit, because Andrew Bidwell and Daan Hole are taking 90 meters up to that peloton, and David Dekker is 100 meters in front of them. We are almost at the top of that climb, and they are really seriously taking an advantage here.
Yeah, they do, and it's quite remarkable, because we still have over 30 kilometers to go. But it seems like the race is on already, and it's pretty exciting to see, because Andrew just leaves Dan behind, and is looking for David Dekker at the moment. But yeah, I'm very curious about this move from Andrew Bidwell, who was one of the main favorites for me today. But it seems to be a little bit early to give his all. But maybe he's feeling well, and he is not giving his all at the moment. And this would be what could be the beginning of a remarkable solo.
Yeah, look at the peloton at the moment. All riders are almost separate. It's an attack from Harrison Wood, who is currently riding at 8.4 watt per kilogram, ladies and gentlemen. He is making it throughout the top of this climb. He's actually overtaking Daan Hole at the moment, so he's currently in 3rd position. And Andrew Bidwell made it to David Dekker. So 2 leaders at the moment. And if you are David Dekker, Yuri, it's maybe better to wait for the 2 teammates who are in the second group.
Yeah, and the interesting thing for now is that David made it to the top of the climb. So now they are going into a downhill, and he could recover a little bit. But this was the harder climb of this parkour. So maybe David can hold on to Andrew's wheel a little bit longer, and maybe can hold on to his wheel to the next long climb. But it's very curious to see what will happen behind them, because if I look back behind David now, I can't see anybody at the moment. But that is, of course, because we are in a downhill section. But interesting to see, because Andrew normally is a way better climber than David is. So let's see what what we can do, what the riders can do, and what especially David can do in the wheel of a climber like Andrew.
Yeah, David is really surprising me at the moment, I must say. Also in that second group, that is Veulink once again. So Meindert Veulink from a block cycling team is doing a great job as well. He needs to push himself now to make sure that he's back in the wheel of Hole and Harrison Wood. But he is surely competing for the podium at the moment, as Marco Frigo also knows that he needs to react now. So he's trying to bridge up to that second group. Matthew Kingston is currently in 7th position, and he's also our first under 19 rider of today. He's doing quite well there, but there we have Robin Orange and William Truelove back at that group. So there is still, I don't think we can call it a peloton, but it's the biggest group at the moment in the race. They're currently riding for 7th position, but they know that the riders in front of them are still inside, so everything's still to play for also in this group, I think.
Yeah, and we mentioned Meindert Veulink before, who's also, I think, is for a guy from the Netherlands, where we don't have that much altitude meters. I think he's a pretty good climber. He did well last year in a couple of Polish races, and I understood that he also did some tests for the Team Sunweb development team last year. And now riding for the Block team, and very curious to see what he can do in this field.
Yeah, I'm actually quite curious as well. Meindert Veulink, he is doing a great job, and I think he's
hey, look,
new to
they're passing me right now. Let's wave.
Ah,
hi guys.
No, once again, there we go. That's Yuri.
Whoopla!
Oh, you're not going really, really fast, Yuri. You're riding
no,
at 150 watt, but I think your weight is a lot as well, or not?
Yeah, and I could put him on, put some more power meters on, but then I can't breathe, so and I can't do any commentating work, so I have to keep doing it like this. But
okay.
They let me.
But it's good to see that you're commentating and cycling as well. You're staying healthy.
Yeah.
Good to know. Andrew Bidwell is currently leading the group that is bigger and bigger at the moment. That second group melted together with the first group. So we've got 6 riders in front now. And their advantage on that second group, we don't know it exactly in time. We know it only in distance. It's 158 meters, but we are in a downhill. So I don't think that the advantage of that first group is a lot, Yuri.
No, because when we hit the flat roads again in a couple of 100 meters, then I guess that second group will be not far away of this first group. But I do think that the strongest riders of today are in this group. And the only surprising name for me in this group at this moment is David Dekker. So hopefully he can keep surprising me and stay in this group until the very last meters, because if he does, then it's an easy job for him to finish this off, because I think he is the fastest guy of this group for sure. So interesting to see if he can follow these more climb type riders.
Yeah, they are getting really close to that first group there. I'm talking about the second group. And I made a mistake. I said that there were only 3 under 19 riders in that peloton, that second group. But it's actually 4, because George Wood, the rider at the right bottom of your screen, is also in that group. But he's not wearing a white jersey. So, he will get a fine of a few euros, but then he will be in the results. No, no, it's okay. But George Wood is in the black jersey, so we need to watch him as well, Yuri. He's currently in second position, and he is trying to bridge up to his, how do you say that in English? His naamgenoot. The guy with the same name is Harrison Wood from the SEG eRacing Academy, the only race leader at the moment.
Yeah, it's a guy who's who always does well in this type of races. He really knows how to play this game. But Harrison is already reeled in by the rest of the guys. Yeah, it seems to me like the big climb will be essential today, because every lap we see riders getting dropped there. So if a rider wants to do something, it has to be on that climb, because you see that on the other parts of this circuit, other riders are capable of returning to the front of the race. So I think we will see some attacks on that climb in the last 2 laps. Maybe not on the next because it's still we're still far away from home. So probably that big climb will be decisive later this evening.
Yeah, you're saying that correctly, and I'm actually quite curious as well because. First of all, that the big climb is still a few kilometers away from the finish. So if it happens like it happens this lap, then you might get away on that climb. But everything comes together as well, and everyone has a big chance of winning. And the second thing is that the finish is actually in a downhill. So yeah, when do you start sprinting then? Maybe you need to start like with 500 meters to go or something. I don't know how this game works exactly in downhills. What's the best way to make sure that you're in the front? Maybe there's more draft or not. I'm not sure about that. As we see that Bodie Del Grosso is currently at the front of the race, and Bodie is also in the zoom. So here you see him, Bodie Del Grosso. I know him quite well actually. I did a few races with him last year, and he's now at the A-Block team. So he's together there with Weulink. Maybe they can set something up. But it's for sure that the SEG team is the biggest team here today.
Yeah, and they also had the most riders at the start, so that's not a big surprise that they are with a lot of numbers in this front group. But it's not always in your advantage that you're with more riders. For example, I don't know if you remember the Omloop het Nieuwsblad of I think it was in 2013 or 2014.
Ian Stannard.
When 4 guys of Ethics Quickstep were in front with Ian Stannard, and what I still think was a stupid move by Stijn van den Berg by catching up with Terpstra, who was attacking at that moment, and Stannard, he just laughed in their wheel and took him on and beat them at the finish line, which was quite impressive, of course. But and in such a big peloton, it's normally an advantage when you're with a lot of riders. But we'll have to see how this will go, and if it is a real advantage.
Yeah, we just started the third climb of today. I think it's the third out of the fifth. And let's see, I hope that there will be another attack today. Maybe if the guys in the Zoom call are listening. Guys, if you want to make us happy, you need to attack now at this moment. Oh, Will Truelof is out of the Zoom, so I'm trying to switch here to Bodie Del Grosso back again. Let's see, Yuri, is there already an attack or not?
No, I don't see any breakaway at this moment. But I'm very curious. You raced with Bodie Del Grosso, Casper. What kind of rider is he? What is his specialty? I know he does very good cyclocross, but that's not road racing, of course. But what kind of guy is he?
Yeah, it's not like his weight is not really really low, so it's not a climber. So he's quite good in the cobbled stages, in the classical stages. So when there's a lot of wind, I think Bodie is really going out on top there. But it's quite an all-round rider actually. At the junior category, there are good riders and there are bad riders. And most of the times the good riders are really well in like every single thing. But I know that he has won a prologue in the Jeugdtour from Assen. So he's also capable of time trialing in a really good way. So I think it's quite an all-round rider, and it's very curious. I'm very curious to see what rider he will be really, because normally when you are under 23, you're really starting to learn more about cycling, and then you also learn about specialties, and I think only then a real specialty is being formed. And Bodie is one of that riders who maybe doesn't know his real specialty at the moment, but he may find that out in a few years. But as I already said, he's a really good time trialist, that's for sure. A cobbled stage or windy stage is also something that suits him quite well. So maybe today the hills in Pienza are also good for him, but I haven't seen him at the front at the moment for a lot of time. So I think a top 10 for him is the maximum that he can get today. But maybe I am seeing it wrong. Maybe he is saving a lot of energy at the moment, and he's coming out on top today. You never know what's going to happen.
No, that's what's so nice about these races, because you don't have, because for example, I do a lot of previews of the under 23 circuit on our website, wielerflits.nl, and normally which riders are good on for example Tour of Flanders under 23 or Giro d'Italia under 23, which was also being run, I just think that was also being raced this week normally if there wasn't a corona crisis. But in that kind of races, who can do well? But that's the funny thing about these e-races. Of course, it looks like real road racing, but it isn't, of course. So that makes it fun because you don't really know who could win. Because, for example, the Real Mont Ventoux stage, I would never play the card of Marco Frigo. He's a really good rider, but in my opinion, he's not the pure climber. He's more like the Il Lombardia rider, the for the Tour of Lombardy, that type of rider, but not the real climber like Vincenzo Nibali, for example. But he did won that stage, so it's just really surprising to see which riders can do well in this type of races. And maybe we're in for a surprise also today.
Yeah. A good example is that we also saw David Dekker in the first group a lap ago. So he's of course also not a real big climber. But of course you can just change your settings on your power meter and then or on your smart trainer. And then you don't even feel like you're climbing. It's just the effort that you need to put in. And that's of course very interesting. So I'm quite curious to see what's going to happen today. And I must say that Bodie Del Grosso also did a lot of UCI races last year that have a lot of climbs in them. And he did well in them as well. So Bodie is a really all-round rider who can do pretty well in this stage today. As we have another tag from Daan Hole right before we reach the top.
Yeah, and also Harrison Wood is trying to go with him. And he's overtaking Dano at the moment. It was 1-2 attack, what it seemed to me. But it looks like that a lot of riders are capable of trying to keep close to Harrison. And of course, after this climb in the downhill section, it would be there's a big chance that they will return to the front. As we now, I'm now in the second group containing Andrew Bidwell, and David Dekker is also here. With also Roberts, and I think Frigo was the last one who was in that group. But when I was talking about that, they are now merging with the front group, and we're nearly at the top of this climb. So we had a little bit of action, but it's really surprising for me to see, or really surprising is a big word, but it's surprising to see how easy David Dekker glides in this group. So maybe he is a big favorite for today if he is capable of doing this 2 times again in the next 2 laps. But that's pretty surprising. But of course he has to I don't get the English words now at this moment, and it's in the overtuigen.
Convince, maybe?
Yeah, that's the word what I was searching for. He has to convince, of course, the World Tour teams who are following him is at this moment, because he's a last year under 23 and started the season with the blast, of course, with a couple of wins, and he will be followed by a lot of pro teams, a lot of World Tour teams. So if he could do well in this stage, maybe then that some of the World Tour teams will say, okay, well, hey, that's a pretty impressive ride by David. So if he hears this, I'm cheering for you, David, at this moment.
Yeah.
Keep on doing this.
It's very surprising to see David in that first group, and not only being in that first group, but also climbing with the best riders actually today there. He's almost in the top 5 every time we are doing that big climb. So indeed, I think that climb is situated in the race very well for David Dekker. There's a long flat section, or not completely flat, but it's not a lot of climbing in the last 4 or 3 kilometers. So there might be a big chance for David to make it in the sprint, and then he's of course the big favorite for today. As I have a little update on the junior race for you as well. I saw that William True Love lost connection. I also see that he's out of the Zoom at the moment, so I think that he lost connection with his internet or something. Yeah, it's the flat tire of e-races, internet connection problems. And he is out of that front group at the moment. So 3 juniors there: Robin, Orange, Matthew Kingston, and of course George Wood, who we also have on the Zoom, and we are watching him at the moment. So I think that these riders are quite sure about the podium. They need to carry on, of course. They don't want that flat tire of e-races. They don't want internet connections. And then the road to the podium is open to them for the under 19 race.
I think a crash is a better sight in this thing when you lose internet than a flat tire. So maybe we have to think about something else for a crash or for a flat tire. But I think when you've got internet problems in these kind of races, that would be a crash.
Yeah,
shall we,
a big crash. Yeah.
Shall we arrange that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
So
that's okay.
Okay. All right. We also have now an ascent right now, but we are nearly on the top of this next climb. It was a real short one, but I'm really, David Dekker is really surprising me today. And we talked about the numbers of SEG before, but that could be a disadvantage for him because, some other guys could play their own card because as SEG wants to win as a team. So, for example, Harrison Wood thinks, or Marco Frigo thinks, I have to attack on the last climb. That could be a problem for David because the tempo will, the pace will be going up at that moment. So, I think for David, the advantage that SEG has as a team would be a disadvantage for himself. But if he keeps on climbing like this, I think we will be in for quite a surprise.
Yeah, of course. I don't think that SEG actually thought about this situation, Yuri. Maybe they said to Harrison Wood, attack as much as possible and make it a hard race. But now they maybe need to think about just reacting on attacks and not doing a lot. Make sure that David is in the first group when the sprint starts. And then the road to victory will be maybe easier than when they are attacking a lot, because we saw that Andrew Bidwell is doing really strong as well, and there are a few other riders I maybe forgot to mention. An example is that George Mills Keeling is also in the front a lot of times. We're watching him now at the moment in the Zoom call. He is doing a good job there. He is from the Ribble Well-Tide Pro Cycling team, and he is present in that first group, as well as Milan Paulus and George Wood, of course, the junior rider. So still 3 guys in that Zoom call who are also in the first group. So that's nice to see, of course. As we are now on a more flat section. This is like the real last kilometer, I think. It's of course 18.5 kilometers to go. But there are 5 laps and we are now in the 3rd lap. And we're closing down this lap at the moment. And then there are only 2 laps to go. It's going like crazy, Yuri. We're almost done. We're halfway.
Yeah, but it's a really nice race to see, and there's a lot of developments all the time. So it's not really boring or it's not really boring. It's just quite fun. There are happening things all of the time. So time goes fast when you're having fun.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very, very wise thing to say, Yuri. It's maybe a pity that there are not a lot of riders competing in today's race, but still, it's a lot of fun, and still we have no clue about who is going to win today's race, and that makes it fun as well. So let's see who's going to win it here, as we are on is it a gravel section? I don't think this is a gravel section, but it's not real tarmac as well. So now it's a little uphill section, 2%, and do we have an attack there from Marco Frigo? No, it's not an attack, but he is at the front of the group at the moment. There, so 14 riders in the peloton as we are taking down the climb at the moment. Then there's a little downhill, and then we only have 2 laps to go.
Yeah, and it's also quite nice to see that all the junior guys are still up there. Also a smart move by SEG by launching an under 19 race, because of course the riders who are interesting for the SEG Racing Academy are the riders who are active in the junior scene at this moment. So if one of these guys does a great job, why not? Could they be racing for SEG on the road next year?
Yeah, I know that SEG is actually doing that, looking at e-races and select a few people. Of course, it's not the big criterion. If you're winning a Swift race, for example, you're not in the SEG team, for instance. But it's of course a very cool thing to see. And e-races are really, really hard, and it's not easy to win them, of course. So it could be a really big factor. And if you're doing well here, SEG might at least look up your stats and maybe ask you to send some data. Maybe they can scout you then. So that would be really cool for those juniors who are in the group at the moment. Matthew Kingston and Robin Orange. I think they are all second year juniors. So next year they need to make the step to the under 23 circuit. And then it's of course a pity if you don't have the ability to race, because then there's no results that you can show like, I did this and this, so please take me in my team. So maybe eRacing is the solution for them.
Yeah, could very well be the case. On the other hand, there were some, like the development team of NTT, what was Dimension Data before. They always had this Swift competition, which riders can attend, under 23 riders, and those guys would get a contract to. At this moment, we see an attack from Harrison Wood, which looks like quite impressive.
Yeah.
And Meindert Weuling is trying to bridge the gap. But the NTT Pro under 23 squad, did that Swift competition for a couple of years, and they gave contracts to, I think it was Martin Pavlic, also to Drew Christensen, I think. But what is the case with these riders, that they were outstanding in those e-race circuit, but I have to say that they didn't really stand out in the under 23 circuit. So yes, of course, this is a tool, these e-races at this moment, for example, SEG, to scout some of the best junior riders. But on the other hand, road racing is a totally different thing than these e-races. So of course, it's a way to maybe show yourself, but I think it's really difficult to clinch a contract in this type of races.
Yeah.
With a road race team.
Yeah, of course, you can call it a different discipline as well. I mentioned it earlier, like mountain biking and cycling, of course, has a lot of comparisons as well, but those are two completely different sports, and it's somehow the same for e-racing. It's actually quite comparable with road cycling. Of course, you are on a bike racing as hard as you can, but there are so many factors that are different from real cycling, that it also is a complete different sport, as Harrison Wood is still pacing himself quite well here up the climb. 6.7 watt per kilogram. We're taking this flaw right turn, and then the real hard part starts, as we are now riding at 5%. So I think you don't save a lot of watts when you're in the peloton. We can see that here. The riders are saving like 6 or 7 watts, so that's not a lot. Wow. Harrison Wood and Weuling are taking 250 meters at the moment, Yuri. This looks like a really promising attack.
Yeah, they're riding on motor bicycles, I think, because they are just getting rid of the bikes quite rapidly. And an answer of one of the guys in the peloton isn't here at the moment, because I'm in that second group, which is led by Andrew Bidwell. But it doesn't seem that he is really to bridge that gap, as we see now that Daan Hole is attacking from that group also. So he's now the third rider in the race, and the young guy of the Akroch Tormans Balen team, Robin Orange, was also there. But it looks like Harrison is doing a massive attack right now, and it could be the winning move, I think.
Yeah, it could very well be the winning move. 300 meters and on a climb. That really is a lot, ladies and gentlemen. We need to find that out. We need to calculate it, but I'm not really good at maths while commentating a race, so you need to do that yourself. 340 meters while riding at 32 kilometers an hour is really much. I think it's around 40 seconds the advantage, but that would be really, really a lot on one single climb. As the peloton starts to to split again as well a little bit, we can see that Daan Hole is still there in third position, and then we have a group of 4 riders with David Dekker once again in it. Andrew Bidwell is there. George Wood is the first junior at the moment. I can see that there is a fan club in the comment section, so that's good to see. James Hawkins is cheering on George Wood, who is the first junior at the moment in the race, but we can see that Kingston and Orange are back again, and the same counts for Van Tricht, for Roberts as well there, and I think that's Milan Paulus. Yes, it's Milan Paulus who's also in that third group at the moment, or actually fourth group, the first real group there with 3 riders alone there in the front of the race. And I'm very curious to see on the flat sections how they can hold off the peloton, because then you know that you're in the draft, and then the draft is a big advantage. But of course that real peloton is not really a peloton anymore, right? It's more of a small group than really a peloton.
Yeah, but I'm very curious to see, because it seems to me like there are some riders in this group behind Dan Hole who are saving some energy, and I'm just curious to see if Harrison's attack is just a real good move, or that the riders who are seem to save energy in this group, if that is a better idea, because maybe on the flatter parts they could get back to Harrison. But that's something we have to see, and I think some riders are taking that gamble at this moment. But on the other hand, it could very well be the case that the best 2 riders are at front, with Dan Hole burning his energy also to try to take that last podium spot. But on the other hand, we'll have to see how that group, which is now riding for the 4th place, will do on the descent of this climb, and on the flatter parts behind after the descent.
Yeah, we're currently watching Milan Paulus, and he is really struggling to keep up the pace of the peloton. He's almost at the top. Come on, Milan. We're watching him there at the right bottom of the screen. Oh, he's suffering a lot there, but I think he's going to make it in that group over the climb. Yeah, Yuri, I see that Tijmen Kamps is asking if this is the real Yuri Einsen. Yes, it is, of course, ladies and gentlemen. Yuri Einsen from Wielerflits. You might know him from there. What would you do if you were Andrew Bidwell at the moment? Because maybe Andrew wants to win this race, but he can't do it alone, of course.
I think he has to wait for the last climb. But I do think that the attack from Harrison was pretty impressive, and he's so far away at this moment that I think that the winner is already known for us. That will be Harrison. But if Harrison took a blow too fast and blows himself up, then one of the riders, and Andrew is surely one of them, could use that last climb to attack. But on the other hand, David Dekker is still in this group. The slopes of that long climb aren't that high, so for a rider type of David, who is of course a sprinter, but also does well in the Flemish classic races, these sort of climbs are doable. So if Harrison gets reeled in, which I think won't be the case because he's way up ahead, then David could survive this parkour and then could also battle for victory. So returning to your question, what Andrew can do, I think he doesn't have a choice and has to wait to that final climb, and then has to see what's up for grabs for him in that last lap. Because at this moment, attacking from this group, it seems pretty useless.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I must say that I'm not quite sure about Harrison Wood winning the race, actually, because his advantage is only 300 meters, and look at the remaining distance. It's still 12 kilometers, and 12 kilometers solo is really a lot, still with that one big climb in the race as well. And Wöhling, I need to talk with him as well. I need to talk about him as well, because he was so close being in the wheel there with Harrison Wood. He was like 20 meters behind, but he went in the chasse patate, and now he's being reeled in by that big group there. Dan Holen is 30 meters in front there, but I think he's also going to be reeled in. So you said something about David Dekker there and his sprint. If it isn't for the first place, he can also compete for the podium, of course. So David Dekker still in that group, and he is a big contender for the podium, I think, indeed. As we see Kingston now attacking together with George Woods. So this is a real under-19 attack we see at the moment, Yuri.
Yeah, it's still pretty cool to see that those guys are still up here and battling with all the other contenders from the under 23 circuit. So they're doing quite an impressive job to maintain and showing themselves. So it's pretty nice to see.
Yeah, maybe they heard us said that they can get maybe a contract or something, or that SEG is going to watch them. They are attacking here in that downhill, but it's hard to make it, of course, especially when you're not, when you don't have that much weight as the riders who are older than you. Peloton is probably going to get back to them, but it's of course nice to see that they are willing to make it here throughout an attack. So yeah, that's really good. I think I raced against Matthew Kingston as well. It's really a name that I know from somewhere. I think it was in Assen as well. He raced there. So Kingston is a really strong rider, and Wood, we can say that. Wood is a really strong rider as well. He finished 46th in Kuurne, Brussel, Kuurne, so he knows how to race, and he also knows how to do e-races for sure, because he is still in that group, as Harrison Wood is now on the more flatter section, and he's only 300 meters up the road, so still everything up for grabs.
Yeah, I think we will see pretty exciting last lap of this circuit, and I thought that Harrison was clinching this victory because he was far way out, but at this moment, maybe we still could see a very exciting finish of this race.
Yeah, we lost contact with Bodito Grosso. He's not in the Zoom call anymore, and he is not in that first group. I think he just couldn't keep the big pace, so that's a pity for him, of course. But we are still with 14 riders in the big group, still 14 riders who are competing for the podium. Is it 14 riders? No, it's 12, 13 riders, I think. Oh, Frigo also dropped out of that group, Yuri. So no Frigo today who's going to win.
No, he was one of my favorites, of course, because I think this type of courses suit him the best. But he's out. But on the other hand, SEG has everything under control at this moment, and it seems like they have some cards to play with. Of course, still Harrison at front, but also with David in the second group. So it seems that they have everything under control.
Yeah, you're echoing a bit. I think that someone has the stream on and maybe didn't mute himself. I don't know what is really happening. I'm quickly muting your sound now, Yuri, for the stream until this problem is over. So we can't hear you at the moment, but we'll just wait until that problem is being fixed, as Harrison Wood is still up front. 400 meters is his advantage over Matthew Kingston. He is currently in second position, and it's good to see that George Wood knows that Matthew Kingston is a junior racer as well. He is pacing him down. Dan Hole in fourth position, and I think the problem is being solved. So I'm currently unmuting the Zoom call. So Yuri, if you want, you can talk again. That's nice, eh?
I think so. It's nice, but I don't know if everybody who's listening has the same opinion. But I think it's pretty nice to commentate again. So if someone liked me being muted, then just mute your computer and you won't hear me.
That's good. That's good. Well, I don't think someone dislikes that, Yuri. It's good to hear you talk. Yuri knows a lot about cycling, so that's cool. Of course, we needed to talk you through these races, and it's nice to have someone next to me who knows a lot about this under 23 riders. Yuri, you are the real under 23 specialist, isn't it?
I do call myself that way because I think it's one of my unique selling points as a journalist, but I also hate to say it because it's quite arrogant to say that from yourself. But I like this under 3 circuit a lot. I'm following that now for 10 years or so. So yeah, I dare to say that I know this scene a little bit and more than the regular viewer of these races, I think.
Yeah, we forgot to make the bell sound, Yuri. I don't think that's really a pity for you, but
cling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Yeah, exactly. That's the sound we wanted to hear from you. 8 kilometers to go. We're currently into the last lap, if I'm not mistaken. I think that I'm correct, so that's nice to see.
Yeah.
And I have a message for George Wood, because James Hartley and Sam Smith are actually spamming the comment section. He needs to up the watts, and I think they are right, because Matthew Kingston is the first under 19 rider at the moment. He is in second position, and George Wood is 50 meters behind. This is the last passage of that big climb. If you want to make a difference and you can't sprint, then you need to do it now.
Yeah, that's the right conclusion. And did you say that Sam Smith was in the comment section?
No. Yeah, it's Sam Smith. Yeah, but it's not. I think it's not. I don't know. Yeah, Sam Smith. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Because I also sing very well, so I thought maybe if he could listen to it. No, just joking. But yeah, it's really nice to see all the riders giving their all in this last climb. With of course Harrison Wood still leading this race, and Kingston is in second place right now, which is quite impressive for a junior guy, with Harrison Wood and Dan Hole and also Andrew Bidwell, and I think that David Dekker is also still here. Just have to look behind.
They are all separate at the moment, Yuri.
Yeah.
And there's a little group now competing for third place. And we also see there that Mills Keeling from Ribble Wild Tide Pro Cycling is also in it, in that blue shirt. We are currently watching him. He's also doing quite a good job. So cheers to him.
Yeah.
Very well. Stan van Tricht in 8th position. Robin Orange a little behind in comparison with his junior mates, but he is still competing for top 10, as well as Veulink and Roberts. He needs to pace himself a little bit more. Will Roberts there. He is in 11th position. I think that he also did the stage race for the Welsh Racing Academy, and he didn't do that quite well in comparison with today. So Roberts is really improving himself on the SEG eRacing series. That's nice to see, of course. Matthew Kingston being reeled in, but one man up front, Harrison Wood, and maybe it's fair to say that if he goes over the top of this climb with more than 300 meters of an advantage, that his way to victory will be there.
Yeah, I think so, but on the other hand, Andrew Bidwell is doing quite a good job for the second place now. He put some 7 watts per kilogram average just a few seconds ago. He's now maintaining his pace, and driving away from Kingston, from the junior guy, and trying to look in front of him and trying to search Wood. But I think Harrison is gone and going for the win. But Andrew is doing quite a good job once again, just like he did on the Mont Ventoux stage. And it seems like he's trying to get the second place, and I think he's passing me in just a few seconds. I will wave to Andrew. Hi, Andrew. And let's see how this will go, and if he could get any closer to Harrison, and that would be quite a remarkable chase. But I think Harrison, if he loses this one, I will unfollow him on Twitter, and then we don't.
I'm following Harrison on Twitter. Wow, that's a really big bet. I never heard something that big. But Andrew Bidwell is putting out a little more watts than Harrison, but we've had this case earlier on. Harrison, that's a big difference with real cycling as well. He can see how big the watts of Andrew Bidwell are. So the only thing he needs to do is look at how big the watts from Andrew Bidwell are. So now they are 6.6 watt per kilogram. And Harrison is just riding a little less than that. But he has, of course, a big advantage. But I must say, it was 300 meters. Now it's 230 meters. So Andrew Bidwell from the team Skoda Fruzio is getting closer. But I don't think it's enough indeed. 6 kilometers to go. It's, of course, a lot. But you know, there are also a lot of downhill sections in it. So before you know it, we're in the last 3 kilometers. And then 200 meters is really a lot. But Andrew Bidwell is doing a nice job. We can see that Stan van Tricht is timing the attack really well as well there. He is in 3rd position at the moment. But Veulink, George Wood, Robin Orange, Mills Keeling and David Dekker are right on his wheels. So it might be a very interesting fight there for the podium, as Matthew Kingston also makes contact with this group once again. So they are going to finish in the top 10, this group, but they can also finish on the podium. So that's nice, everything to play for here as well, as we are watching Andrew Bidwell once again. So now Harrison is in the downhill, so you might think, oh, the distance is going up, so that means Harrison is taking a bigger lead. No, that's not the case. Harrison is in a downhill now, so it's easier to gain an advantage, of course. In the downhill, you're going faster, so the change in distance, the difference in distance will also be more then. But Andrew Bidwell is at least competing for the podium today, Yuri. He is doing a great job when it comes to making it indeed at least in second place.
Yeah, of course, what's also nice to see that Harrison is a rider who knows to ride in these e-races very well, which was also quite remarkable because he didn't won a race of this SEG Under-23 E-Series yet. And in every other race, he's named as the guy who knows this game very well, who knows to play these type of races. And it's nice to see that he finally gets his win and proves himself as the real e-racing specialist. But it's also nice to see that Andrew is doing a great job as well today, and showing that the result he put down on the Mont Ventoux stage in the stage race wasn't a coincidence.
Yeah, we've had 1100 meters of altitude. It's been a really tough race, but Harrison looks to be there on top. He is still 300 meters in front of Andrew Bidwell as we are now on a flatter section. So I think it might be enough. Stan van Tricht there was for a few moments he was up front there in the peloton, but George Wood is chasing him down. So I do think that the under-90s are not only looking to win the under-19 race, they are also looking to have a really good result there. Maybe a podium spot on the under-23 race. That would be a really cool thing, huh?
Yeah, sure, that would be a nice thing. And when I looked at the start list before the race, I didn't thought that there were any riders of the under-19 competitors able of finishing on the podium, because we had the looks of Tijmen Adensman, Marco Frigo, of course, Harrison Wood, of course, a strong guy. Corbin Strong was supposed to be here as well, which I think he could do a great result here too. And then you also had Meindert Weuling, which I thought could do well here, and Andrew Bidwell. If one of the junior guys will hit the podium, that will be a very nice result, and for me also a very unexpected result.
Yeah, for me as well, Yuri. There, being an under-19 rider there within that big field of under-23 riders, that's of course a really nice way you can make it to the podium. They are surprising me actually with the top 10 already, so make sure, when they are making it to the podium, that would be a really, really big surprise. I can see that Milan Paulus is being dropped as well, so only Mills Keeling and George Wood who are in that Zoom and who are still competing for the top 10, for the podium, and of course the win in the junior race. But we are going to the front at the moment, or not? No, because I think that Weuling is attacking on this little uphill section. Yep. He's trying to make it to the podium.
Yeah, and he has to, because David Dekker still is in this group, which is a really, really a good job from David. And if no one attacks from this group, normally the sprint of this group is going to be won by David. So good move from Meindert Weuling to attack and try to secure the third podium spot, because if they go in this group and let them drive to the finish, then it would be a very easy job for David to take the third place today. So every rider in that group behind Andrew Bidwell needs to attack if they want to be on the podium, because if this will be a sprint of this group, it would be easy peasy for Sneaker Dave to pull off this victory.
Yeah.
Pull off that third place, of course.
Yeah, the victory is for Harrison Wood. I think he has just started his last uphill section. He has still got a lot of advantage onto Andrew Bidwell, and he's putting out above 7 watt per kilogram, which must be enough. Harrison Wood there, the rider from the SEG eRacing Academy. And as Yuri already said, he is a specialist in the e-races. He is taking his chance now to win the race. He didn't make it in the stage race. He was doing really well there, but the wins went to Jordi Meeuws, Paul Wright, and of course to Marco Frigo. So no Harrison Wood there on the first podium spot. But now he's making it, I think, still going strong there at 5.7 watt per kilogram and almost at the top.
Yeah, and he of course did a good job in that stage race, because he did quite well in the Paterberg circuit, and also was up there with I thought the first 6 guys on the Mont Ventoux. So he really showed himself over there, the British climber. But he didn't had his victory, and but now he's about to snitch that one. So cheers for Harrison, because I don't think Andrew is getting any closer at this moment. So I think Harrison can already start his celebrations, just like, for example, Remco Evenepoel did in the Junior World Championships in 2018, who already started his celebration, I think 5 kilometers for the end. So
maybe that's a little bit that's maybe a little bit arrogant when you start celebrating, but he is indeed in the Ultimo Kilometro. It's said that he's not in the Zoom call, but we're going to make contact as quickly as possible to interview him, ladies and gentlemen. It sounds quite weird to talk about the winner of the race before the race is really over. It's the first time that we can actually do that, I think, Yuri. It's quite clear, Harrison Wood is going to be the winner of today's race. 700 meters to go now for the rider from Great Britain. It's a pity that he's not able to race in real life, but this guy is a real e-racing specialist, and he's going to finish it off.
Yeah, he is. Did a good job. Attacked a few times, and at the moment that he did attack, it was pretty surprising. But because it was the third ascent of the big climb, and I thought that the guys who tried to break away before in the first 2 laps tried to check out what they could do. But then all of a sudden Harrison took the third climb to do his penultimate attack. And he is about to finish this off. A great victory for Harrison Wood.
Yeah, indeed. 9th in Chrono Des Nations in 2019. And now he's time trialing his way home there. He is the winner of this Pienza circuit race, this 1-day race. And he is really strong, as Jesse Rijt is also saying there in the comment section. The second place is going to be for Andrew Bidwell. He's taking the right corner here. It's a little uphill section there before the finish, so you don't want to sprint too early for that. I think we're going to watch Andrew Bidwell here, and then we're quickly going to go to the peloton. Hopefully we can all see it there. We need to look really well.
Yeah, because of course now Andrew is finishing his race, and now it's nice to see how this sprint will go.
Yeah, David Dekker is going for it. We can see George Wood there at the front of the race as well. George Wood currently in 3rd position. Now we're starting climbing a little bit. It goes up. Who is the fastest here? I think it is Gabriel Mills-Keeling, but it's oh so close. So I'm not sure about that, but I think that he made the podium there. Whoa, what a sprint was that?
Great gamble also of the SEG racing team, because if they waited for David, who got his chance to be on the podium here in this circuit, what doesn't really suit him, he didn't win that sprint. Of course, it was a really difficult sprint after a tough course, but they took the gamble with Harrison attacking that early, but at the end that was the good turn.
Yeah. David, can you join the link that I sent for an interview?
Oh, David, we can hear you as well. David is trying to...
It's a Zoom. Do you have the app?
Oh?
Okay.
Can I mute David? No, I can't.
Perfect.
So we're currently watching Will Roberts, who is in 10th position at the moment. He's also going to finish in the top 10. We are awaiting the official results. Of course, we know that Harrison Wood is the winner of today's race. Andrew Bidwell came in 2nd. But who is the winner of the junior race? I think it was George Wood, but I'm not sure. And I also don't know about the top 5. So we're currently working on that behind the scene. and we are trying to also make contact with the winner of today's race, because we of course want to interview him. Is he already in the Zoom?
In 2 minutes he was here.
2 minutes. Now we need to talk for 2 minutes then.
How was the weather today?
The weather? Well,
no, just joking. We had to talk about 2 minutes. I just picked a random object to talk about.
Yeah.
But, no.
I understand. Milan Paulus is in 11th position. He was trying hard there. He got a long way, but at the end he didn't manage to keep up the pace. In the left side you can see that he's 4th, but that is not true. Paulus is currently in 11th position, so finishing right there behind the top 10. But I think that Harrison is almost ready, Yuri. Yeah, there he is. Hello, Harrison.
Hey.
So, hello. What a performance, man. Already going at 12 kilometers ago or something. What a solo. Can you talk us through the race a little bit?
Well, at the start it was like, it's pretty hard out the the start straight uphill. So yeah, really made sure I like warmed up well, and then it was just like some attacks, but the after the climb it was quite like rolling, so it was really hard to hold your advantage, and I think we did a pretty good job as the team. And then I just coming with 2 times up the climb, I thought the only way to get away is just hit it from the bottom as hard as possible. So I just went, full gas, and then just rode as hard as possible to see how much advantage I could take, and then just rode full gas then to the finish, basically.
But it was quite surprising for me that you choose the third ascent of that big climb, because I thought, okay, the first 2 laps, everybody is trying to see what they can do on that climb. And then the third one will be quite easy. And then the attacks will follow again on the 4th and the 5th time they climb the ride. Why did you choose especially that third climb of the big climb in this circuit?
Well, like the lap before, we rode pretty easy up it. And so I thought, maybe everybody will think I will start a bit easy. So I basically went to almost at the back of the group, and then coming into the corner, just almost did like a little sprint. And that way then the group, I already took like 50 meters in like 10 seconds off them, because everybody thought, maybe you'll ride just like tempo. So I thought it was a good opportunity to push and see if I could at least break the group up. Because
were you surprised that nobody followed at that point and also didn't bridge the gap later on in the race?
Yeah, I thought like if I could really go full gas on the climb, then somebody really, really strong would have to try and come across and go really deep. So I thought, if I go, then I can at least try and just mess up a few people if they tried to come. But then there was like one guy tried with me, but I think I dropped him, and then it was just a case of just riding then like as hard as possible almost on the climb, and then just trying to recover on the descent, because I knew the group would do the same thing. So it was quite a good tactic maybe.
Yeah, and did you, because it was quite early in the race actually that you were up front there all alone, were you thinking like, oh shit, now I have to try to bring this home solo, or were you confident that you could take this one home in your own?
It was a bit like when I got to the top of the climb, I thought, it's maybe a bit silly to push so hard. I just had to, and then I just thought, I have like 500 meters, so I can at least last another lap. And then if somebody from the team can attack also, it's quite nice. But I didn't really think I could win maybe until the last lap, when on the climb nobody was really bringing me back. I think if anything, the gap went a bit bigger on the final time up the climb. So it gave me some good confidence for the last part.
Yeah, and of course, everybody told me every race, watch out for Harrison Wood, because he's a real specialist in these type of races. Now you finally got your win. Can you tell me, why do you like this e-races so much?
Yeah, I think like I really, like everybody is in the same situation. There's no racing, so it's like you have the opportunity to show yourself a bit. So you just take it seriously as a normal race, because yeah, what's the point really in just turning up and just thinking, oh, maybe I'll just ride round today. I think you have to just really focus and just try and pretend it's like a normal race really.
Yeah, and now you've got your victory. Is there any chance of a little party tonight?
Yeah, maybe like in England on Friday night it's like it's curry night. So
Okay,
maybe we have a curry and celebrate that way.
okay, that would be quite fun. Do you've got any questions for Harrison, Casper?
No, I think we are all right. I was busy with the results, Yuri. They are now visible in the live stream, so that's nice to see. I just want to congratulate Harrison on this win. And Harrison, go celebrate it, and hopefully we see you back in the next U23 Series race. That would be cool.
Definitely, thank you. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Harrison. Cheers.
Cheers, bye.
So we also want to interview George Wood, if it's possible, because he is the winner of that junior race. He ended up in 4th. George, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
So I can hear you properly, thank you. So that was a really impressive ride by you. I didn't expect that for an under-19 rider. Can you talk us through the race as well?
Yeah, I've been doing a couple of these races on RGT recently. So I thought the best plan was probably to just sit in, follow moves, because of the caliber of riders that are in this race. And being a junior, I thought it's probably best not to attack. So I stayed in the group, and then last lap gave it a bit of an attack, but unfortunately that got brought back, and then sat in for the sprint, and then we gave it everything from there.
Yeah. The sprint was quite impressive to see, actually. It was really close. Did you actually look at the screen, or were you just sprinting like crazy, giving your all, and then you all of a sudden saw that you were 4th? How did that exactly go?
Well, out of the last corner, it seems to break into corners. So everyone was sort of going the same speed out of the last corner. And then, I was just head down, try and put out as much power as I can. And then, I looked up with a few seconds to go, and it was and then I saw people were coming up behind me, and I just as hard as you can, really.
Yeah. So you are of course a junior. It must be really hard for you maybe to find a team for next year, isn't it? How is that for you, to not race and trying to find a team?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that at the minute. I'm speaking about that to my coach, but because no one really knows when racing's going to resume, it's a bit of a slippery slope, really. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Not really sure what's going to happen. Just hopefully can get some results when racing comes back, if it comes back this year.
Yeah, so maybe eRacing is a good way to show yourself then, because the SEG guys have been looking, of course. Are you interested?
Yeah, definitely. That's the plan at the minute, because it's really the only way I can try and get my name out there for next year at the minute.
And like Harrison Wood, George Wood, I'm thinking of changing my name in Wood also. What's in the name?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Okay,
it's a big
then
secret.
I will stick to Eins in the distance. Yeah.
Well, thank you, George, for talking for us and for competing in the race, of course. Was nice to have you here. I think we're going to...
And enjoy your victory.
Yeah, enjoy your victory, of course. You were the winner of the under-19 race.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye. I think that was it, Yuri, for today. We've seen a cool race. What's your conclusion of today?
Yep. We saw a really good David Dekker, who really surprised me today. Harrison took his win. And also Andrew Bidwell did a nice job. But the main thing I learned today is that David Dekker did this surprisingly well on this course. So it seems to me like he really took a step forward this season, and it's very disappointing that we can't see in real races what he can do in the moment. But let's hope he cracks another win in this SEG under 23 E Series.
Yeah, because it's going on. I can see that Sam Smith is off to record his new album, and we are off to prepare ourselves for the next under 23 E Series race. Of course, the under 19 eRacing series will also go on, so make sure that you are subscribed on the channel, that you're watching it closely, and then we'll see you back as soon as possible. Bye bye!